Yeah, still in the game. We're still in the game. Right on. Today's topic is guilt and shame and weed addiction. This is my experience. I share my experience to help people who are questioning whether they should live with or without weed. Um, if you're not questioning it and you're in love with weed and you think weed is the greatest gift to all of mankind and you make more money and your relationships are better and uh, this video is probably not for you because that wasn't in my experience. That was more my defense mechanisms. So anyway, it's not for you if you absolutely love weed and never see yourself changing at all ever. This video is not for you. But if on the other hand you kind of recognize there's probably a better way to live and um, and you're hoping that it's possible. I know I didn't for a long time. I mean, I grew up where I grew up, when I grew up. Um, every single one of my friends smoked weed every single day, and I didn't know there was any other way to live. So that's where I came from. So that's part of the reason I make videos, is to help other people that are where I was to see a different point of view. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, but it's been a while since I made a video. So I'm all fired up. I got a lot to say. Just had some coffee. Fired up. So today's topic, guilt, shame, and weed addiction. When I was 12 years old, I got busted for smoking weed from my dad. And he took me to the local grocery store and he sat me in his car and he did the best he could. He did. He did the best he could. And he tried to talk me out of going down that path of drugs and alcohol. And um, I wanted to be a good kid. I did. I really wanted to be a good kid. But uh, I was kind of, you know, uh, I also wanted friends. And everybody that I grew up with, that was what they were doing. I'm sure there was people that weren't living that way, but I didn't know them. And I was lonely in my era. We started really young, and it was lonely if you didn't do that stuff because, you don't have a lot of social skills at that age. And I didn't have any real, um, I didn't know what to focus on. So anyway, I ended up unable to not go down that path. And I felt such guilt about it. Like every time I got high, it was like I liked the feeling and to listen to music and to get these creative thoughts, but they were always like these little pangs of this is you're hurting your family by doing this. And then it got to a point to where the reason I had such shame and guilt was because I knew the consequences of the way I was living. I knew I could do better. I knew I could do better. And because I wasn't doing better, because I wasn't even close to fulfilling any sort of potential in any area of my life, even though I had some abilities, um, I just, I felt shitty about myself, and I treated feeling shitty about myself with getting high. I mean, I would feel shitty about myself and know there's something more for me in my life. And that would create this anxiety and this angst and there's got to be something more. And I'd take a few rips. And for 20 minutes, I would get this just like, don't worry about a thing. Because every little thing is going to be all right. I listen to music, skateboard, play sports, jump in the water, do some surfing. What a life. For 20 minutes or an hour, it was awesome. And then it was just right back to, fuck, I'm not living my best life. I'm holding myself back. I don't really go for anything. I don't really have any balls. I didn't use that terminology, but looking back, that's what it felt like. I lived life just afraid to be bold. And I would just, but I was this conflict because I also had this part of being human that I wanted to create. I wanted to grow to a level that that felt like it was on that edge for what my creator created me for. And I knew that I was selling myself short by leaps and bounds, and I got stuck in that cycle, and I couldn't get out for years. I struggled with that very cycle, just like wanting to do more, feeling guilt and shame because I wasn't doing more, then getting high to deal with that feeling of guilt and shame, and which gave me some short-term relief, but in the long run created this really unhappy, chronically weed depressed guy. And the only thing I had to treat it with was more weed and more denial. And thank God I was able to escape that life. And getting off weed was difficult because all those things that I didn't want to face, and I used weed to like stuff it, to like hold it down, to like put it on the back burner. But when you do that, it never goes away, man. It's always in the background, just growing and wearing on you and wearing on you. And when I finally quit smoking weed, I had to face that stuff, or I knew I'd go back to weed, because that's what happened to me time and time again when I didn't face the truth in myself, the truth of what I believed about myself, the truth about the consequences of the way I was living, the truth of the choices I had made, and then the inability to make new choices. It was painful, but it was also way better than continuing to smoke weed. I felt like I was finally growing up, finally on that beam where, yes, this is who I'm meant to be. Someone who faces life head on. Someone who takes complete responsibility for their life. And I could never do that on weed. It was a way to avoid that. And the reason I make videos is because my life now is committed to helping other people that are in that same loop of weed addiction that I was. That same just year after year after year of just slow entropy where you just feel a little bit worse every year and nothing changes. So I'm now doing one-on-one coaching. There's an application in the link below if you would be interested in working with me one-on-one. And I hope you got some value out of this video. Please like and subscribe. It's been a while. I know I was kind of rambling today, but that's what I got. Peace, much love. See you next time.